Thank you, Louise, and good afternoon to you, panel. This is going to be the demo for IskolarBot, the research assistant chatbot. While it is hosted on Render and you can access it through this QR code or the link, it is using the free tier, which means it has limited resources. You can see here the application is hosted, but I will be using the local host just so there's less latency issues and there's no major disruptions. So this is the user interface. There is a README file that guides the user on how to use the application, but let's go straight to the chat. It welcomes you and then asks you which category of the computer science topics you would want to talk about. So let's try data structures and algorithms. Now for the dataset, I have a visualization here in a Google Drive. Do note that this isn't the real-time data that is being used. It's just for me to show you the documents that we could ask about. So let's try to ask about this. I don't really know what polytopes are, so we're going to ask about that. What are polytopes? So for the data structures and algorithms, it has all of these data sets as its knowledge base. So it's running now. Hopefully it gets us the right answers. And a polytope is a geometric figure in multiple dimensions. So yeah, it does give a reference in the IEEE format. So let's ask it to write a summary of that paper. So it does have the context of the previous conversation history that you or the chatbot and the user has. So let's see what the summary of this paper is, just so I know what it explores. So computational complexity, NP hard. They also discuss the complexity of computing. I'm not familiar with this topic, so let's try to explain it to me in simpler terms, please. And again, we wait for it to run. And here, it did regenerate it and explores computational complexity, crucial for linear programming and combinatorial analysis. So for me as a computer science student, this is much more understandable. Introduces algorithms and formal definitions for these computations. So yeah, let's try to ask another topic. So I'm just going to create a new chat so it refreshes the context. Let's try to ask about operating systems. And now I want to get some related literature. Maybe can you give me related literature to Windows, maybe Windows OS. So this one is getting the data set from this knowledge, these files right here. So it did give me the related literature. So one is Unified Approach for Operating Systems. The other one is this one. And then, yeah, Conceptual Thoughts. So let's try one of the generated test sets from the RAGAS evaluation. So let's try, okay, I'm already in security. We're going to ask in, no, not data structures, sorry. In cryptography and security. Let's try to ask a question just so we have something to compare it against. So how does license registry, just gonna copy that. So we should expect it to answer similarly to this. Just going to zoom in a little bit. So we ask this. So the license registry determines the dataset eligibility for model training using LVC smart contracts. Determines for model checking the validity. So there are differences in the wording, but essentially the idea is still there. It checks the validity of the license using LVC smart contracts. And it just gives you like a more in-depth analysis of what it is. Can you give me, let's try to ask a very different examples of algorithms in cryptography. So this is not related anymore to this. So let's see if it does change the context, even if you don't renew the chat. So it does give here the examples of algorithms in Blowfish algorithm, which was designed by Free Alternative, the symmetric block encryption algorithm. And surprisingly, the data here is the paper that I created back in 2021. This was my SP1. This is just so I know that it is working, not just with like data sets that are being that are completely published in those publications, but also it works with SP and thesis papers within ICS. So that is all for the demo. I've shown you how it can retrieve accurate answers from a data set, but also it can give you related literature, and it can summarize and give you more in-depth analysis as well of the paper that you want to ask about.